Hello.
All right, should we do a quick introduction? Liuba, you want to start?
Sure. First of all, thanks for hosting. Hi, Simon. Hello, everybody. Let me tell you a couple of words about myself and what we do. I think this is important to understand because all of my panel discussion will be based on the experience. So I'm Chief Executive Officer and co-founder at Verve, previously Red Rock Apps. Probably you've heard about our running for weight loss, fitness walking, or meditation applications. We unite over 50 million of users across the world. And basically, the major goal of our company is to help people maintain healthy lifestyle. So we think about it as the 4 major components: activity, nutrition, sleep, and mindfulness, which was mentioned a couple of times before in the previous discussions. So we try to provide services for each of these verticals to help people live healthier. This is what we do.
Excellent. Give a hand.
Hi, I'm Barbara. The reason why I'm here is actually to meet people like Bene, like you, Simon, and obviously Liuba. We already were thinking of partnering together. That's how fast it goes. I have a couple of my friends in the back here with Jim, Flory, Julian. Hi. And I have, I'm here to learn also because I am a sports nut. I love to move. I love to have fun moving. And I'm quite baffled at what's happening with all kinds of different technology. Obviously, I have a wearable myself. I have all kinds of ways to measure and to weigh myself. But it's really interesting in just like being here for 5 minutes that I learned so much. I sold millions of DVDs. I have all different kinds of hats. I sell anything you want. I have a clothing company. But my preferred job is a mother. At the end of the day, that's what I do, if you would ask me in a nutshell.
Thank you. Bene?
So my name is Benedict. Thanks for having me too. I'm co-founder of Evalu, which is one of the startups here. And we have a very simple goal. We want to make you fly when you go out there and running. And we do that by providing truly personalized coaching, by offering a system that gives coaches the ability, or our coaches the ability, to see runners without actually being there. We launched a product a few months ago. We've already coached thousands of times, so our coach has more experience than most other coaches out there. And that's what we're slowly bringing into software, and at some point we want to do that as an AI.
Thank you. Give a hand for Bene. So I have a couple of main topics that I think are really, actually I think this, I'm kind of honored to have this high caliber panel. I think this is actually going to be perfect for what I wanted to explore today. One thing that keeps coming up over and over when I talk to coaches, I'm like, what makes a good coach? What's at the core? You know, obviously you need to know the body, you need to know all the different muscles and whatever, but one thing that keeps coming up over and over is empathy. And so I would like to hear from you guys why that is so important, or how, and I want to explore that. Why is that so crucial? And I think, let me start with you, Barbara.
Well, I can speak to that in a sense. A lot of people see me as a coach, but I do 17 different programs. I just talked to Liuba about it. I come as a student, and I have my coaches. I have one coach right now that I can talk in particular about. I can pay her, but I can't pay her to love me. And I grow by connection, by love. I grow by, taking down my own barriers, you know, by community also. And so I'm very sensitive if somebody is just doing their lesson and I pay, like a massage or like a lesson, or if somebody actually cares for me. I can bend longer, I can put my leg up, I'm willing to work with you. And so I think a coach is, and this is why I was talking about Liuba before, a coach has a special human touch. And you can, and I've seen it, you can take a machine and prepare your body, but that last touch on the end of your back when you do a downward facing dog, and all of a sudden, obviously, I can do more. I can go further. That's something that I'm really interested still, you know.
So let me please answer from the digital world, because in fact I have been creating digital coaches of different types within the last 8 years. And the first part of the question, I think the successful digital coach nowadays is based on two major things. One is great content, and the second one is the language, how the interface speaks with the user. And I think that nowadays we are able to create a lot of content, and this helps the solution to become more empathetic. So in fact, if I'm in bad mood today, I'm able to open the application and there will be the content that suits best for my kind of mood today. And also the other tool that we have to make it more empathetic is when you create different sort of messages, you can talk to the user in different ways. It could be push notifications, it could be emails, and it's up to developer to speak with the user in a very mild tone or to be like a military style. And nowadays the artificial intelligence allow us to test what will work the best for every of us. So I would say the digital is slowly coming to these real coaching, but for sure we are not able to do this. Yeah. Not yet.
To be touched. That's the thing.
Benedict, what's your take on this?
I think sports is such an emotional thing that it's an emotional thing, and it's built of two things. If you have a great coach, it's the message that you transport and the way you transport it. So for us, you always have a real coach with us, at least one time, and this way we build so much empathy that the love for the sport is somehow transmitted.
Is there a way where we can, I want to keep going on this a little bit, is there a way we can digitize or automate that empathy? I mean, you started to touch a little bit on that. Like, can we create these moments of truth that makes a user feel understood, right? What can we reflect back on the users that make you, even though it's an app, there's still a certain insights you get where you go like, wow, I can't believe this app knows that about me. What can we create to create these moments of truth?
So let me begin here. As all of the technologies right now are available to everybody, the developers are able to get tons of data about the users. And we, for sure, can create those moments that you've mentioned. And I can give you lots of examples. For example, we know that a person had a sleepless night. And when they open their mobile application, for example, that is running, the running app can appreciate that and say, okay, let's reschedule your run to tomorrow. You don't have to do it today because probably your performance will be not that good. Or the other example, we can have the heart rate from some of the wearables, and we can analyze if you are experiencing stress right now, and we can even provide you some advice how to overcome it right in this exact minute. This is what we do in our meditation application. For example, I'm sitting here, my heart rate is crazy, I'm all nervous, and my mindfulness application will right now ping me proposing to do a breeze exercise or to go to have some meditation or just to have a brisk walk. This is how we create those moments. And of course, we need to take care about how you deliver those messages. You should be very mild, or you sometimes should be in a strict voice with the user so that it is motivating. This is how we think about it.
Well, I think motivation is something that you just said is a lot of times a problem in what I do. So my boyfriend is a triathlete, I told you before, and you can measure everything he does, his cadence, running. He completely changed his running style. We talked about it. But he's 3 hours in the pain cave, and he's upset, you know? And I'm thinking, where's the fun? Where's the joy, you know? Obviously, he's a professional athlete. He's a triathlete. But for me, I don't swim. I run in the pool, so my things don't get measured the right way, you know? I run back and forth. So a lot of times the wearables are not, maybe you can change that for me, but like a lot of times I get on a level of, or like a boundary where I say like, well, this is for somebody that's professional or already motivated or already like in a place where you want to be measured. For me, a lot of times it's enough to know I'm sweating, I had fun.
Anything to add?
So let me give you an example of how we do that. I think to be motivated, it depends on your success, of course, and on the way you do your training. We always tell our users that a very important part after every run is the stretching, because this is the first time you calm down, you still feel your body pumping, and you can think about the run you did, you can think about how you improved, and this little part from training 1 makes you want to do training 2. Yeah? Just this feeling you create, this motivation is key if you want to be successful in your training.
Yeah, making success tangible. Actually, that's one example, that 3D scanner I was talking about. What's interesting, you can actually do a scan before a session with your trainer, and you rank maybe 22 on mobility, and then after a 30-minute session, you can go back and you can actually see your mobility improving. And once a user sees that, it's really powerful to show that kind of closed feedback. And that was really eye-opening to see that kind of moment of truth. And it sounds like that's similar to...
The other thing that came to my mind regarding motivation, but this is from the different business side of what we do. So typically people say that there is the sort of motivation that is connected to some responsibility that you feel in front of your coach. For example, if you have an appointment, like I can't go, not to go there.
Right.
Or for example, responsibility in front of the group who you train with. So in the world of digital, where I come from, we see that the users who tend to purchase the subscription feel the same sort of responsibility, and they typically tend to be from 3 to 7 times more motivated to keep going and to make the workouts. So it's also one of the points.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point, that if you have a coach, you really feel you don't want to let them down. I think that's a really powerful motivator. Benedict, you mentioned emotions, right? So fitness is a lot about emotion. Like, it's about how we feel, right? And like, one thing I talk to my team a lot is, yeah, if it doesn't feel good, they won't come back, right? You want to have these really feel-good emotions. Like, while you're in the workout, you want to create an amazing, yeah, you feel really good about it. And so we started actually looking into some IQ engines. We actually started talking to the company that is the IQ engine behind dating sites, because they create personas, right? So I can match, you up with your ideal partner. Can we match you up with your ideal content, right? Like, and we talk a lot about tribes, right? Like, if you're a triathlete, you have a very different mindset than if you're into weight loss, or if you're a TRX person, you have a very different mindset than a marathon runners. So what can we do to connect users to the ideal content?
Well, for me, it's easy. I just throw out a new program. I have like a certain amount of people that I work with, a lot of stewardesses, a lot of Lufthansa stewardesses. It's very good for me because they connect with me. They're like, hey, I saw you today on the beach on your DVD. And so I have that I would just come and do another program. So for me, also, my life is like that. I would advise for some variable, like something else, a new program, some other thing that pushes you to another limit. Try something new. Dance. Maybe last night I was dancing with 150 wild women in Copenhagen. We were touching each other and like breathing together. It was pretty funny. I mean, usually what I do on the dance floor anyhow, but it was exactly that thing that maybe my next thing is dancing, again. So I would say that would be a thing, to just try something else, do something new.
I think from the digital world, once again, how typical developers are doing stuff.
I want to work with her. She has some secrets. I would like that.
So you create lots of content, and then there should be some engine that is optimizing. And typically, the onboarding experience should be very simple. You have your users. They just install this piece of software. They don't know anything about it. And you could ask just a couple of questions. and then just optimize what to show the user. There might be some training plan, there should be some motivational articles and other stuff. But what happens then? If the user begins using this solution, we are gathering different stuff from their Fitbits, from their mobile phones, because it's actually everywhere with you, it already knows a lot. And then we are able to provide more and more personalization, so that if we get some new data, it will be used by our engine to provide more personalized content. And this is the key of success. So nowadays, it's not able to show something for millions of people. Everybody is different, of course. And people are getting used to having their solution personalized. They are not longer willing to pay for something that is the same for everybody. I have created one training plan, but it won't work for millions.
I think the highest goal would be to have high quality content that shows the user that you understand him, that you can see him. But that is a really tough thing to do. If you can connect knowledge or content that you want to transport, and you can connect that with the fact that you actually saw something interesting about the user with a sensor, or from the runs he did, or from the videos he watched. I think if you find that sweet spot, that's it. You won.
I think with you also a lot of times, as far I know from experience from my boyfriend, you get the freaks already, right? You get the people with the questions. How could I run faster? How could I change my style? How could I win? And or do you think you have already like people that are still uncertain that they want to run, or do you have mostly people that they know what they want to do?
It's a mix actually between those freaks. So I'm a triathlete myself. So I'm connected to that. But we have a lot of people who want to get into running and stopped many times because they don't have the success, they don't have the motivation, they're not paying enough maybe for their subscription. It's a mix between those people who start running, people who already run and are kind of freaks, want to get better. But it's a nice solution. I love it. Yeah.
You got it.
So I think yeah, this is great. We're really touching on the trifecta, right? We talked about empathy, we talked about emotions. The third thing that keeps coming up over and over, and I'd be curious to hear what you think about that, is authenticity. What constitutes real in fitness, right? It's like, we're obviously bombarded with things like Alexa and Siri, but, how can we make a workout experience feel real? Like, what makes it authentic?
Let me begin, please. So I'd like to begin saying that probably in this space, there are just a few people who've heard about Red Rock apps. And at the same time, we have over 50 million of people, 50 million of users. So I believe the reason for that is that we are not enough authentic for this specific region. Germany has lots of great companies like Runtastic, like Freeletics, and many others that most of you probably use. That is why you haven't heard about Red Rock apps. So in general, answering the question, the not authentic solutions won't work. If people think that this solution was created on the other side of the world by somebody who doesn't understand me, who doesn't understand what is good for me, this absolutely won't work. And this is what we see in our experience. So we are localizing the products into 10 languages. We are from Europe initially, so I'm from Minsk. I came here from Minsk. We work with experts from the United States, and that is why United States is our #1 country. We also have some people from South America, from Canada, Australia, but at the same time, we are not popular in China. And I couldn't get it before I spoke to the expert from this market, and he told me, okay, you do everything wrong. It won't work for this.
So you're saying local flavor is an important part of it. So you get the tonality right, you get the attitude right.
Coloring, messaging, even the type of content, it should be absolutely different. If you are not doing it, there is no way to succeed. This is my opinion.
Amazing. Barbara, what do you think is that? Or
all I wanted to say was I share that opinion. Yeah, I think so too. It's very fair.
Well, for me, it's like a little bit, obviously, it's a little bit different, but my authenticity comes, obviously, because I'm coming as a student. I come and I learn something new, so people think, well, if Barbara can do it, she can do it. And now with my age, I'm going to be 52, like I'm still doing it. So people in my age group and younger say, okay, she's still doing it. They're like, I've got a lot of makeup. Thank you, Timo. But the truth is really, I come from a place where people say like, oh, she can, I might too. You know, and I allow myself to do something new. I allow myself to learn something from you. And I think it comes with curiosity that we can if we want to.
Okay.
And I would like to add here that even in the digital world, there are lots of examples of successful businesses in mobile that are being founded by the person like Barbara. And then there is the group of people who are going for her, and they are ready, they are willing to repeat this example exactly as
my
you
gurus,
said.
right? Like,
So you should go to mobile.
exactly, we're talking.
So I want to squeeze in one kind of more technical thing, like physiological modeling. And when you started talking about AI, and obviously you probably use some kind of physiological models. Where do you see things going there? Like, what are the biomarkers of the future? Right now we do heart rate, we do steps. What do you think is going to be the next big thing? What kind of markers are we going to look at that are really meaningful, that give real insights? What do you think?
So I could begin saying that I think that only nowadays those variables are start giving us accurate data. If we think about what we had 3 years ago, I wouldn't want to optimize my solution based on the data. This is the truth.
Amen.
The things that you see on most of the market available solutions are not that accurate. But nowadays, they are improving, and nowadays it's possible to do some personalization and some improvements to the solutions that you are providing to the users. So I've mentioned we are doing a lot with the heart rate, with some other things that are available from the wearables, and it's even just your phone, which knows a lot. But I believe the future here is in the DNA analysis, and there are lots of companies that are already utilizing the genome data so that you can get your personalized fitness based on your DNA analysis. We can know what is the best, what type of activity is better for you, what type of nutrition, what special things you should be doing or avoiding in order to become more successful in making your lifestyle more successful. I believe, more healthy, sorry. I believe this is the future and where we are going to.
Excellent.
Very nice. Yeah, I share that again. So maybe the way we define coaching is a coach is someone who is your second pair of eyes and ears, who looks at you, who recognizes your fundamentals, who breaks them apart and builds them back up again. And of course, it's so important to have good eyes. If a coach is blind, he won't be able to coach you. And I think a lot of companies ruined it, or yeah, that's too much said, but there's so much bad quality of sensors out there in the last 5 to 10 years or 15 years even, but that changed over the last 2-3 years a lot. I don't know which sensor system will be the most beneficial. I know that ours is quite good, but I know that even heart rate measurements are so much better than back then, and that will be the future of sports, I think, because you can do it so much more personalized, so much healthier, so much more efficient.
Barbara, can you see yourself using
this
kind of technology?
Yeah, you know, I talked about my frustration earlier that you can't measure me running in the pool or me doing Pilates. You know, it's like because I'm doing like certain things, but I think in the future it's going to be possible by measuring and me providing probably more data and me having a closer communication with any kind of apps they are doing. So I could be less frustrated and more motivated, like that you actually see me in all my weird things that I'm doing, you know. And since I do so many different things, it would be nice to have actually exactly what Liuba said, somebody that understands me.
So the topic was man versus machine. If we had to describe the man, woman plus machine, what would be the ideal distribution? Like I give you
I want to say this
And
because
we're here.
honestly, I want to give a compliment to Liuba. A lot of times it's either or. You have something or somebody that's meditating with you or doing some qigong or some inward, now you got to drink water kind of kumbaya thing. And then you have somebody who's speeding you up and to sweat more. And I like the combination of all of it. You know, I want to pick and choose at times. And I think this is the future. I mean, especially for females or for women that I'm following, that we don't want to be in pain at all times. We also want to be caught. We want to be seen. We want to be loved. And if you provide meditation and you provide sweating and all that kind of thing, I think that's the future because it can't be isolated. I'm not going to win some medals with what I'm doing. I realized that a couple of years ago.
Any closing words? Liuba?
Maybe it's not man versus machine, but maybe man and machine.
Right.
I can see that this is a smarter approach somehow because you deliver the human feeling from the first minute on rather than starting out with a stupid computer and trying to make it more human. Just use the human and try to reduce the human step by step. So delivering always the human feeling to the athlete.
Right. Liuba?
So my heart is all into digital fitness, as you understand. And the reason for that is I believe nowadays your best mobile health assistant could be in your pocket. And we just want to help millions of people to understand that this will happen really very shortly.
Excellent. Thank you for my panel. Thank you.
Thanks for hosting.